Okay. Excuse me. Okay. Warning, I'm about to make a really egotistical statement. You know, sometimes an egotistical statement is also true. Here's the egotistical statement. I know a lot more about camera gears than the other top 20 YouTube photography channels combined. Pretty sure I've been taking them apart and fixing them, tearing them apart, tearing them down, fixing lenses, you know, working in several camera stores, fingering and handling cameras until it's falling out of my ears. Been taking stuff apart my entire life. I love to see the inside of stuff. Fix them, blah, 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 you know, design flaws, you know, general hardiness of a camera manufacturer. So here's an important thing. By the way, I made a video a week and a half ago, roughly, showing you my top 4 cameras, and amazingly, and I made sure that was a very detailed video, 3 of the 4 cameras were Fuji. The GFX, the XT2, and the X100F. The other one was the Nikon D500, so let's take a look back at the year 2016 and right into 2017 now that the GFX is out. Fuji destroyed everybody, even the people that hate Fuji for whatever reason. You know, they admit, like, you know, Fuji destroyed everybody. They did. They destroyed everybody. Let's talk about the really important thing that Fuji doesn't have, and you don't want to have it, that others do have. What Fuji doesn't have is R.T.M. issues. That's called rushed to market. You know, there's some camera companies that like roll out a camera and then they obsolete it 9 months later and then they roll out the Mark II. You know what I'm talking about? 6300, 6500. I've never been so impressed. I used to own, I actually did own a couple Leica cameras back in the day. I even owned a Hasselblad, owned a Mamiya. 6.7 Mamiya. I owned some Pentaxes, a lot of Pentaxes, a lot of K1000s. I owned a pair of, I love them still today, however, nobody really uses them anymore. Some people do. The 6.7 Pentax. Really obnoxiously beefy, chrome-plated brass beast. Nobody has ever impressed me as much as Fujifilm has. The quality, fit and finish, the firmware updates. Now, nobody makes a perfect camera. Let's talk about what Fujifilm also doesn't have. Fujifilm does not have the hardcore sports action wildlife glass. They don't. I mean, Nikon, Canon, you know, with their huge ass honking, I call it big ass glass. Everybody knows Nikon and Canon owns that. Everybody knows it. For sports action wildlife, they do. There's no denying it. I'm not going to blow smoke up your skirt, you know. It's undeniable. I've got a lot of that huge Nikon glass. Something else that Nikon owns that Fujifilm doesn't, and it's no big deal, is just crazy, crazy, crazy high ISO performance. And that's not due to the sensor. That's due to a signal processing. You see, a camera's not a sensor, it is an image processor. No big deal. I don't own the Fujis for shooting in stupid low light conditions. Like if you want to be like in the club, boom, 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 you know, 8 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, where all the lights are flickering, and you know, I'm actually going to grab, the XT2 is not bad in that arena, but the Nikon D500 spanks everything out there. It just does. It's undeniable. But what Fujifilm definitely does not have, and it's a good thing, is they don't have rush to market. They're doing firmware support and updates on cameras that they don't even make anymore, like the X Pro 1. I mean, there's recently a firmware update. So the fact that I chose 3 of my 4 favorite cameras as Fuji, because there's no perfect camera. The Nikon D500 is not ideal for portraiture or landscape. I mean, it just is. Not that you can't do that with it, but like dynamic range, latitude, and micro contrast, this is it now. Even better than the Nikon D810 by leaps and bounds better than the D810. But I mean, D810 is not a fast camera either, but it's still substantial. This is medium format. There's nothing fast about medium format. Never has been, never will be. There might be in the future, but not really, because it's still a huge-ass sensor. And as I showed you in a prior video, a 30th of a second on a medium format sensor is not the same as a 30th of a second on a DX sensor. And if you want that explained in detail, I did it in the last video, so go check that one out. There's no perfect camera. D810 is a sleazy bummer for sports action wildlife. I know Nikon's going to come out with a full-frame version of the D500 to announce it in July, which is their 100th birthday, to be released later this year. But right now, Fuji is murdering everybody's butt. Fuji has got it going on in all the right places. There's some movie about this guy that just finds the right woman, and you know, he loves her personality. He's like, there's got to be something wrong with her. You know, is she like got a disease? Like, no. You know, does she like have ugly feet? No. Oh no, I'm not objectifying women. I was just using that analogously. This, you know, the deeper you look at Fujifilm, you have to look at a critical eye too. A lot of people don't know what the hell to look for. They just they see a camera, they see the glitz and glamour of people blowing smoke up your skirt. Sony. Blowing smoke up your skirt with specifications, but they won't tell you that there's no ecosystem there, there's no support there, there's no glass there. All the really, and you know, if God forbid the damn thing were to break, you know, you dropped it and it needed a service, you just forget about it. You up the creek, girlfriend. You up the creek. And that's not the way with Fujifilm. So let's all give a round of applause to Fujifilm and all the awesome stuff they've done. Fujifilm isn't giving me anything, you know. They're not pulling my strings to make this video. I say this from the bottom of my heart. Fujifilm is doing every damn thing right that nobody else is doing right. Nobody. Some of the companies are doing some right stuff. D500, great, right stuff from Nikon. However, not much else I could actually think of in the past couple of years. No, not really. Nope. Can't really think of much else. You know, the new camera from Nikon this year might be an absolute killer. I assume it'll just be a full-frame version of the D500. But Fujifilm is killing it. So hats off to Fujifilm. Absolutely unfreaking believable. These Japanese-made wonder boxes, they're not R.T.M, rushed to market. You know, Fujifilm is not coming out with one of their deluxe cameras and going, oh my god, 9 months later, we're going to come out with a Mark II version of this. You know, that ain't happening. Fujifilm waited a long time before dropping the X-T2 on top of the X-T1's corpse. X-T1 is still an awesome game. I still got my X-T1s. So it's just a vast improvement on the X-T1 in the furtherment of the technology. It's not like, oh, we're going to fix some flaws and some bugs and come out with a sec. Fuji isn't rushing things. People hate that, you know? I don't want to cast aspersion on Sony, but Sony and Nikon, all the camera companies need to realize that customers hate that crap. When they drop like 2, 3, 4, 5 plus grand on a camera, they don't want something that's rushed to market that's obsolete 9 months later, you know? You know that's going to happen with a computer. When you buy a computer, it's like, well, however, computers have gotten so good now, they're not obsoleted like they were back in the day, where like 9 months later, there's another computer twice as fast. That isn't really happening anymore. But customers hate that on the cameras, and Fuji is not pulling that crap, excuse my language, is not pulling that crap on their customers. The point is that I'm seeing all this really important stuff as someone that fixes these things and tears them apart and selling them and messing with them that the rest of you just are not seeing. Some of you see it, but a lot of people don't. They just see stupid, you know, hype and talking heads. Oh my god, it's got 10 billion focus points. Yeah! Give me a break with it. This is where it's going on. Not meaning the GFX specifically, but Fujifilm in general. So, kudos to Fujifilm. 3 of my top 4 favorite cameras. And that is astounding. It really is. I think I'm still deeply in love with the XT2. It's like every time I even set my eyes on it to go grab it to take it out and shoot with it, it's just a pleasure. Really is. So too the GFX. GFX is the sumo wrestler, as I've stated to people before. You know, sumo wrestler's not fast, but whatever you point it at, it's like, go. You know, it just plows it down and it gets the job done. That's what the GFX is. It's a sumo wrestler. Whereas, like, the XT2 is a little ninja, you know, a little speedy ninja. Gets the job done, but if you want a ninja to, like, knock the wall down, it ain't gonna happen. This is for knocking the wall down. This is the bulldozer, the sumo wrestler. And medium format's always been that way. So, kudos to Fujifilm. You, girlfriend, are doing everything right. Everything. And that is a really unusual statement for me to make. To say, like, you're doing everything right, you know, that's a really hard statement to make, but it's true. It's like, really? Fuji's doing everything right? Yeah, they are. All the really key important things that people don't talk about when it comes to a camera specification, like customer service, firmware, not rush to market, reliability, durability, all the important stuff that are not part of a specification sheet, Fujifilm is doing it right. And if you don't think that's important, then you need your head checked and stuck in a straitjacket and thrown in a padded room somewhere because you don't have enough brain cells to poop, breathe, and feed yourself. Thank you so much for watching. If you like this video, you can drop me a buck or two. You can tell me to jump off a cliff. Whatever makes you happy. Fuji! Bye.